Our motoring tip of the week concerns compression ratio and comes to you from the Canadian International Auto Show. We're at the Infinity booth. We're looking at a cutaway engine, and if we look at this engine, we've got a cutaway into the combustion chamber in the cylinder right here. So when we talk about compression ratio, it's always expressed as a ratio. So let's take a typical engine these days of 11:1 compression ratio. So if we imagine our engine running, when the piston gets to its lower extremity, what we call bottom dead center, we're filling this whole combustion chamber and cylinder with air-fuel mixture. The piston comes upwards to the top of its stroke, and we compress that air-fuel mixture, and the ratio by which we compress it is the compression ratio. And these are just hypothetical numbers I'm using just for demonstration purposes, but if we move the piston to top dead center, the full extent of its stroke, the clearance volume would be the 1, so we'd have 11 cubic inches of total volume squeezed down to 1 cubic inch, and we'd have an 11:1 compression ratio engine. Now, compression ratio was always something that was fixed in engines. Whatever we designed in, we had to work with for the life of the engine. But it'd be great to be able to control it, and we now control damn near everything else in the engine. Cam timing, cam phasing, pulse width, how long we keep the injectors turned on, tremendous number of engine parameters that we can play with, or the PCM that runs the engine can adjust to give you the best of everything. But compression ratio, it was fixed and we worked with it forever. So now Infinity has developed an engine that will very soon go in the QX50 vehicle, and this engine is the world's first application of a variable compression engine. It's called the 2-liter VC turbo, VC standing for variable compression. So now the PCM that's running that engine, running everything else in that engine, is now going to be able to adjust the compression ratio so we can have the best of both worlds. We can have high compression when we need it, but when that turbo engine's running at full throttle under maximum boost, the compression needs to come down so that we don't detonate. Detonation is a very destructive force in the engine, causes very high exhaust emissions, and will destroy the engine if it's left unchecked. So we can now have an engine with variable compression ratio so we can get the best of both worlds, the best power, the best fuel economy, and keep the engine together even when it's running under high load. So, you know, it's one more way we've taken electronics and married it to a mechanical system, and now we're getting way more out of that engine than we ever did. So pay attention to variable compression engines. Infinity's the first one to go to market with it, and you can bet that the other guys are working on engines of this design too, because if they're not, they're going to be giving away a huge advantage that Infinity's going to have with these variable compression engines. That's your motoring tip of the week.